Welcome to Earth and Kind Quests. My name is Mike, and this video shares about what might happen when a Circle of the Land Druid battles against a Battle Master Fighter, using the 2024 rules in Dungeons & Dragons. The Forest Gnome Land Druid, named Jaorn Taran, is one of 4 heroic adventurers on a quest to defeat a fire-breathing red dragon at the dragon's lair. The Dwarf Battle Master Fighter, named Dorgon Stormforge, is one of 4 enforcers working for the dragon and commanded to confront the 4 approaching heroes. In the video text description, you can see the web links for both of the level 8 character sheets in D&D Beyond. You will notice that the Druid can access several powerful options, yet the fighter could win this battle within a single round of combat. We all would build these characters differently and make separate choices about them. The 2 opponents here represent the kinds of characters that I might play starting at level 1, and then making choices up through level 8 while considering how they could contribute in exploration, social interactions, and combat. In most battles, the Circle of the Land Druid, Jaorn Taran, would start with a concentration spell such as Spike Growth to control the battlefield, followed by casting damage-dealing spells or transforming into an animal wild shape form that could allow different options. In this particular battle, though, the Druid's major weakness will be his limited defensive features, especially if he will not find an opportunity to prepare in advance or to act first in the initiative count. The Battlemaster Fighter, Dorgon Stormforge, can deliver an impressive amount of damage during each round of combat. He can deliver even more damage when using his Action Surge feature and applying his Battlemaster maneuvers. With his alert feat and high dexterity score, Dorgon Stormforge probably will strike first during a combat. His archery fighting style grants an extra bonus to attack rolls with his crossbow. The Crossbow Expert feat allows to ignore the loading property of the crossbow, and to ignore a penalty when an enemy is within 5 feet of the shooter. The Great Weapon Master feat adds extra damage to each successful hit with the heavy crossbow, among other potential situational benefits. Leading up to this point, the Red Dragon attacked the surrounding lands and communities, transforming the landscape into a wasteland of lava terrain. The dragon demanded exorbitant tribute from anyone who wished to avoid a fiery fate. 4 heroic adventurers agreed to work together to defeat the dragon. Jaorn Taran and his companions began their trek to the dragon's lair, when they were confronted by the dragon's 4 chosen enforcers. For practical purposes, each battle is in a separate video. We already have seen Bladesinger Wizard versus Draconic Sorcerer, Eldritch Knight Fighter versus Pact the Blade Fiend Warlock, and Life Domain Cleric versus Oath of Vengeance Paladin. Now we will witness Circle of the Land Druid versus Battlemaster Fighter. The enforcers of the Red Dragons start with an unfair advantage. They will use as many of their power resources as they can, while their opponents probably will prefer to conserve some of their special features for when later they will plan to confront the dragon at its lair. In this particular battlefield, scattered spots contain fountains of magma that will cause 2d8 fire damage to any creature when first entering the space or when starting a turn in there, applicable only once per turn against each creature. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jaorn Taran, and the Battlemaster Fighter, Dorgon Stormforge, roll for initiative. The Battlemaster wins the contest, and he will act first. In round 1, Dorgon Stormforge moves to position himself for his crossbow attacks to push his opponent toward a column of magma. The first attack hits against the Druid's armor class of 15, delivering 12 piercing damage and applying the push weapon mastery. The Battlemaster adds a maneuver of a pushing attack. The Druid fails the strength saving throw, and he is pushed another 15 feet. The force of the blow adds another 6 piercing damage. The second crossbow attack hits again. It inflicts 17 points of piercing damage. The push weapon mastery sends the Druid into the nearby column of magma. The magma immediately causes 8 points of fire damage. The Battlemaster applies his disarming attack maneuver. The druid fails the strength saving throw, drops his druidic spellcasting focus, and suffers another 2 points of piercing damage. The Battlemaster knows that he can end this duel with his action surge. With his first action surge attack, he decides to use a non-lethal blow following an instruction to capture the druid alive. The crossbow bolt hits, and it inflicts 16 points of non-lethal damage, dropping the druid unconscious. The Battlemaster fighter, Dorgon Stormforge, has won this Nemesis battle, at least for now, but the story is not yet over. The dragon instructed for all of its enforcers to bring back their opponents as captives. For our purposes in this video, the Battlemaster uses his next turns to remove the druid from the fire hazard, stabilize his unconscious foe, and prepare to transport the prisoner back to the lair of the Red Dragon. Meanwhile, he notices that the other enforcers of the dragon appear to be unsuccessful so far with their battles against the other heroes. If they will fail, then they will not return to the dragon's lair or dare to face the wrath of the fire-breathing Red Dragon. After some hours later, the Land Druid Jaorn Taran regains consciousness with 1 hit point. His hands and his mouth are bound. His possessions have been taken, except for his plain clothing. 2 ferocious creatures guard him closely. They are red dragon wyrmlings. Nearby, a pool of magma radiates intense heat. The druid ascertains that he is being held as a prisoner inside the lair of the Red Dragon. The lair resembles an ancient construction of giant-sized proportions. The place has sustained some damage due to the magma and other volcanic activity associated with the dragon. Around a corner, Jaorn Taran faintly can hear voices speaking at a distance of perhaps 200 feet or farther away. One voice clearly is the Red Dragon itself. The other voice probably is the Battlemaster fighter who had defeated the druid earlier today. Unknown to Jaorn Taran at this time, the dragon plans to convert him into a kind of weapon, transformed through a ritual of a draconic mutation. So far, only the Battlemaster has succeeded in bringing back a captive. The dragon will not forgive the failures of its other enforcers. The druid considers his options of how to escape. He has seen no sign of his other heroic companions. He only can hope that they have succeeded in their duels against the other enforcers of the dragon. The druid knows that he cannot cast most of his spells while his mouth and hands are bound and while his druidic spellcasting focus has been taken. He can, though, use a bonus action to enter his druidic wild shape. Jaorn Taran summons his druidic powers and the 2 Red Dragon wyrmlings notice. The druid and the wyrmlings roll for initiative. The druid wins this contest, and he will act first. With a bonus action of his wild shape feature, the druid transforms into an owl. The transformation frees the druid from his bonds. The owl flies with its dash action out to 120 feet. The flyby feature of the owl avoids opportunity attacks by the wyrmlings. The 2 Red Dragon wyrmlings snarl and rush after the flying owl. They need to use their actions to dash with their fly speed, keeping up to pace with the owl but not able to attack. The disturbance within the lair attracts the attention of the Red Dragon. The dragon and the Battlemaster roll for initiative. The dragon uses its action of this round to sense what is happening within the lair and to issue commands. The dragon orders the Battlemaster and the 2 wyrmlings to chase after the fleeing prisoner. I should note that the dragon's features and statistics will be revealed in a next episode after we all can see the forthcoming new monster manual in February of 2025. During the next round, the owl continues to use its flyby feature to avoid opportunity attacks, while dashing at its maximum flight out to 120 feet on each of its turns. To the extent that the owl can perceive, the other heroic companions are not here. A speedy exit is the #1 priority. The wyrmlings only can keep up to pace with the fleeing owl while waiting for the adult Red Dragon to approach closer with his faster flying speed. The Battlemaster fighter uses his dash action, but he cannot approach close enough with a line of sight for using his crossbow. The owl sees the exit and reaches to the exterior. The owl recognizes that the dragon's lair is inside the crater of a volcano. The owl will need to continue flying in hopes of escaping out farther to a safe place. The dragon is furious that the prisoner has moved outside so quickly. The dragon orders the two wormlings to carry the Battlemaster and to fly out to follow the druid. The dragon itself is unwilling to exit the lair at this time and to leave it undefended, knowing that the other 3 heroic adventurers are on their way to the lair. The dragon grants only one last opportunity for the Battlemaster fighter to complete the task of bringing back the druid as a captive. Otherwise, the dragon does not tolerate failure. After some time of flight, the druid resumes his original form as a forest gnome. He has gained enough distance from his pursuers to rest for about 1 minute. Jeorantaran finds a natural stone that he can convert into a druidic spellcasting focus, allowing him to cast most but not all of his druid spells. He upcasts Healing Word on himself at 3rd level, regaining 19 hit points, and repeating for another 23 hit points. The 2 wormlings prepare to drop the Battlemaster into the combat zone. The druid moves to hide behind the cover of a rock formation. Soon, the wormlings tire of this game. They deposit the Battlemaster in the most convenient spot for them, and they begin to fly back to the dragon's lair. Once again, the Circle of the Land Druid and the Battlemaster fighter roll for initiative. The druid wins this contest, and he will act first. Jeorantaran moves into a position with a line of sight against his opponent, and he casts Hold Person. Dorgon Stormforge fails the wisdom saving throw, and he becomes paralyzed. As a bonus action, the druid activates his wild shape, transforming himself into a giant eagle. The eagle flies into melee contact with the fighter, preparing for its next move. The Battlemaster remains paralyzed during his turn. At the end of his turn, though, he attempts another wisdom saving throw, but he fails to end the Hold Person spell. The giant eagle lunges forward to attack with its beak, rolling with advantage against the paralyzed opponent. The attack hits, automatically counting as a critical hit within 5 feet of a paralyzed target, resulting in 12 piercing damage. Instead of using its talons attack, the giant eagle grapples the fighter. While paralyzed, the fighter automatically fails the saving throw to avoid the grappled condition. The giant eagle flies upward at half of its speed, reaching up to a height of 40 feet before releasing the fighter to fall back down 40 feet. The fighter lands prone and sustains 20 points of bludgeoning damage. Dorgon Stormforge attempts another wisdom saving throw, and he fails once again. The giant eagle descends to attack the Battlemaster twice with advantage. The first attack with the beak hits the paralyzed target, and the critical hit results in 6 points of piercing damage. The second advantage attack roll is with the talons, and it results in another critical hit for a total of 19 points of slashing damage. The Battlemaster fighter, Dorgon Stormforge, attempts another wisdom saving throw, successfully ending the Hold Person spell. Now at the end of his turn, though, the fighter is in the prone condition, and he retains only 17 of his total 76 hit points. The giant eagle starts to move away from the prone Battlemaster, risking an unarmed strike opportunity attack that misses due to the disadvantage imposed by the prone condition. As a bonus action, the druid resumes his form as a forest gnome. As his action, he upcasts Lightning Bolt at 4th level. The Battlemaster succeeds with the dexterity saving throw, and he will avoid half of the damage of the Lightning Bolt. Even with only half of the damage, the Battlemaster falls unconscious. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jeorantaran, has won this rematch of a Nemesis Battle. The druid is grateful for his good fortunes of surviving up until now. He can surmise that he narrowly avoided whatever the Red Dragon had planned for him during his captivity at the Lair. Jaron Taran searches through the surrounding lava terrain, looking for where he might find his companions. A few hours earlier, the other three heroes wondered what happened with the Druid. The Eldritch Knight applied her survival skills to ascertain that the Druid had been defeated, captured, and transported to the dragon's lair. The team then moved with haste to search for the Druid. By the time when the heroes can find each other, the Druid has survived his encounter with the Battlemaster fighter. The four companions share the stories of their duels against the four enforcers of the Red Dragon. The Druid reveals about his experience and observations inside the dragon's lair, potentially useful toward planning how the heroes will prepare to confront the dragon. In this moment, the heroes notice that the Battlemaster fighter somehow has vanished from the scene. All four of the dragon's enforcers have been defeated, yet surely the dragon will prepare for an epic battle at the lair. Currently at the volcano lair, the fire-breathing red dragon roars in fury. The dragon notoriously does not tolerate failure, and its four enforcers never will show themselves here again. The dragon contemplates how best to defend its lair and its treasure hoard. Our story will continue in the next episodes of Nemesis Battles. For now, in the comment section, please share your ideas and suggestions about what could have happened differently and what could happen next. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.